But when we try to skip these seasons of our life and we don't put value in those seasons of our life, we don't grow and gain what we need to gain for ourselves to be the best person that we can be. Hi, my name's Devin. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way. I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. I'm Devin Dickinson, and today I want to talk to you about how people have this desire to leapfrog seasons of their life. And I'm a coach, a high school coach, and I get to deal with a lot of kids and see how their minds think. And I'm going to be talking about kind of like that high school, college age right now. But honestly, this premise applies to everybody, all of us, whether you're 50 years old like me, whether you're 60, whatever you are, we all kind of struggle with the same thoughts that some of my, high school players do, because we're competitive folks. Like if you're a dreamer and you're watching this podcast, you're probably somewhat competitive, and you probably have this idea in your mind, and actually that's being promoted a lot, like on Instagram and social media, that you're in this race. Like you're in this competitive race and you're competing against everybody and you're competing against time. And, you see these people on Instagram that are like, have their own private jets at 25. No, they don't, but that's a different story. But anyways, we have these ideas that we're in this race and we're competing against everyone. And first and foremost, the very first thing I want you guys to understand is that you're not competing against anybody. You're called to be who you're called to be, and that's the only race that you have. You're competing against yourself to be the best you that you can be. The Bible even talks about this. It says, that when we compare ourselves to other people, that it's evil, right? And I believe that. Like, we literally in our lives, like, we have to stop comparison. Stop trying to compare where you're at in your career, or what your GPA is to somebody else's, or what your income is to somebody else's, or the size of your house, or the look of your car, or you name it, whatever it is that you compete with and that you're comparing and envying in other people. First off, be done with that. Set yourself free and realize that you have the race that you need to run personally, the best to your ability. And, I deal with these high schoolers, and they have all of this pressure that's put on themselves, mostly by themselves, and because they're watching the social media and this weird competitiveness that they have. And a player of mine is contemplating, like, hey coach, I'm thinking about not playing next year. And I'm like, well, okay, that makes me sad, but why? And they're like, well, because, I'm thinking about dropping out of high school and just going online, and, because then I can take some college classes and I can start working earlier and this, that, and other. And I'm like, okay, like, listen, I get it. Like, you could do that, right? And I'm like, but why? What's going on? Why do you have this desire? Well, coach, I'm not, I don't really enjoy high school. Okay, well, get in line, right? Like, that's high school, right? People think they don't enjoy it, but that's part of high school, is this time of our lives when we learn how to interact with different people, when we have all these, estrogen and testosterone and all of this stuff going on, and, all of these things, we're growing and we're trying to decide who we are. And this is a weird time in everybody's life, right? Like, and so, but get this straight, like, basically everyone goes through high school, and this is part of the season of our life, right? It's part of growing, right? Like, the idea of interacting with your peers and getting that down is important, right? And so if you drop out of high school, you're going to go and work by yourself online. Well, that doesn't help you with your interaction, because you're already, you're just someone who's trying to interact with people better anyways, right? So I'm not sure that's helping you, right? And he's like, no, but you don't understand, coach. I could start making money like this year. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great. What, like, in the best case scenario, Best case scenario, how much do you think you can make? Well, I don't know, blah, 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 blah. I bet I could make like $30,000. Okay, you could make $30,000 over these 6 or 7 months. That's great. Good for you. First off, you're not going to do that. But let's say that you actually do that, and best case scenario, it happens. So how does that $30,000 change the course of your life? Well, it gives me a head start. A head start on what? Who are you racing? What are you trying to do? Because you need to understand that the season that you're in right now, if you skip that season, you're going to be skipping lessons. You're going to be skipping things. There's someone that right now that you could be going to high school with that could be, your girlfriend, that could be your future wife. There's people that friends that you're making at this time that you could have for the rest of your life. And you're skipping these seasons for $30,000, maybe, because you got there ahead of who? Remember, you're not competing against anybody. And so, I'm trying to walk this person through this because he has this race mindset, and he has this, I can skip this season of my life because I don't see value in it. And this happens more and more. And listen, I'm not the person here to tell you that you have to go to college. I'm not the person here that tells you have to work for somebody, but I am here to tell you that there are seasons of your life that if you skip and you don't ever work for somebody, you don't ever have a boss, you're going to never know what a good boss or a bad boss looks like, right? If you're someone who, skips, college, or you do, maybe the military is what you're thinking about doing, you forget that, and you're 20 years old, you go and start your business. That can be great. Awesome. I'm glad that you're pursuing your dreams. But what discipline have you lost along the way? Because I'm going to tell you what, the person I'm talking about, I don't think they make their bed, right? So awesome, you're going to go and make $30,000, but you don't have enough discipline in your life to make your bed. Maybe you need to go off to the military for 4 years and gain some discipline and some structure and understand authority and understand what a good boss looks like, a bad boss looks like. Maybe you need to learn. Maybe you need to look at several other different opportunities because you're going to decide, actually, what I thought I wanted to do isn't actually what I want to do. How many people watching this podcast went to college and changed their major? I did. How many people during that, 18 to 25 years old, 18 to 30 years old, at some point had a major career change or, so many things in their life changed, yet we're thinking if I could start at, 17, I can be 6 months ahead so that you decide that you're doing something you don't even love and that 5 years later you change your career path anyways. We're not in a race. We need to gain what we need to gain out of these seasons of our life. And these seasons are gifts. Here's what happens. You can never go back to high school. Right? You can never relive your senior year. You get one chance at it. Well, I guess it's possible to get a couple chances, but you basically get one chance at your senior year, right? You can't really go back and relive that freshman year of college. You can never go back and relive those first couple years of your very first job, your very first real job, and your very first paycheck, and that boss that took you under their wing and made you better. You can never go back and relive that experience where you worked at a job for 3 years that you realized that you hated, that gave you enough knowledge to go, I don't like this career. I'm changing career paths. But when we try to skip these seasons of our life and we don't put value in those seasons of our life, we don't grow and gain what we need to gain for ourselves to be the best person that we can be. And my challenge to you is if you're struggling right now, if you're trying to skip a season, and look around, embrace, and realize what you could be missing. The person I'm talking about right now is a wonderfully talented, incredible person. But this is his decision to make. And I'm absolutely confident that no matter what he decides, he's going to be successful. But what will he miss? What is the opportunity that he will never get back versus that quote unquote 7-month head start on top of everybody else who actually did finish out their senior year. And so this is my challenge to you, is to evaluate the season you're in, appreciate the season that you're in, and learn from and grow in that season that you're in. I'm Devin, and this is the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, and I hope this helps.